Unveiling the Alawites' beliefs and origins. The Alawites are a fascinating and often misunderstood group. They are a branch of Shia Islam, but they have their own unique beliefs and practices. Some even consider them a distinct religion altogether. The Alawites are known for their secrecy, and their beliefs are not widely known outside of their community. They have their own holy book known as the Kitab al-Majmu, which contains their teachings and rituals. The Alawites believe in reincarnation, similar to beliefs found in Hinduism and Buddhism. They believe that after death, a person's soul is reborn into a new body. The cycle of death and rebirth continues until the soul reaches a state of spiritual perfection. Their beliefs also emphasize the importance of Ali, the cousin and son-in-law of the Prophet Muhammad. They consider Ali to be a divine figure and a key intermediary between God and humanity. The Alawites originated in 9th century Iraq. Their founder, Ibn Nusayr, developed their distinct theology. His teachings spread to Syria, where they found fertile ground among the rural populations. Over the centuries, the Alawites faced persecution and discrimination from the Sunni Muslim majority. They often retreated to mountainous regions for safety, which further contributed to their isolation and the secretive nature of their beliefs. The Alawites have long been a marginalized community in Syria. They were considered heretics by some Sunni Muslims and faced social and economic discrimination. However, their fortunes began to change in the 20th century, particularly after the rise of the Ba'ath Party in 1963. The Ba'ath Party espoused a secular and nationalist ideology which appealed to many Alawites who saw an opportunity for greater equality and representation in Syrian society. From margin to power, the Alawites and the Assads. The Alawites' rise to prominence is intricately linked with the Assad family. Hafez al-Assad, an Alawite, seized power in a coup in 1970. His rise through the ranks of the Ba'ath Party and the Syrian military was swift and strategic. He consolidated his power by placing loyal Alawites in key positions within the government and the armed forces. This move, while securing his rule, also fueled resentment among some segments of Syrian society who perceived it as favoritism towards a minority group. Hafez al-Assad's rule was characterized by authoritarianism and a suppression of dissent. However, he also oversaw a period of relative stability and economic growth in Syria. He presented himself as a secular Arab nationalist and positioned Syria as a key player in the Middle East, standing against Israeli occupation and Western imperialism. His policies, while successful in some respects, also laid the groundwork for future unrest by concentrating power within a narrow circle and failing to address underlying social and economic inequalities. Bashar al-Assad, Hafez's son, inherited the presidency in 2000 upon his father's death. Initially seen as a reformer, Bashar's early years in power saw some limited political and economic liberalization. However, he ultimately continued his father's authoritarian practices, crushing dissent and clinging to power. The Arab Spring uprisings that swept across the Middle East in 2011 posed a significant challenge to his rule and plunged Syria into a brutal civil war. The Syrian civil war, which began in 2011, has had a profound impact on the Alawites. As the conflict escalated, sectarian tensions flared, and the Alawites, seen as loyal to the Assad regime, became targets of violence and displacement. The war has resulted in the deaths of hundreds of thousands of Syrians, including many Alawites, and the displacement of millions more, both internally and externally. The conflict has also deepened existing social and economic divisions within Syrian society, leaving the country deeply scarred and fragmented. The Syrian Civil War, a turning point for the Alawites. The Syrian Civil War has been a defining moment for the Alawites. Their fate became deeply intertwined with the survival of the Assad regime. As the war raged on, the Alawites faced a stark choice: remain loyal to the regime that had offered them protection and a degree of power, or seek a different path in a rapidly changing Syria. The conflict forced them to confront their identity and place in Syrian society in ways they had not experienced before. The Alawites have played a complex and often controversial role in the Syrian civil war. Their overrepresentation in the Syrian military and security services meant they were on the front lines of the regime's fight against rebel groups. This led to accusations of human rights abuses and atrocities committed by Alawite militias, further deepening sectarian tensions. However, it is crucial to remember that the Alawite community is not monolithic, and many Alawites oppose the Assad regime and the violence it unleashed. The war has also had a devastating impact on Alawite communities within Syria. Many Alawite villages and towns have been caught in the crossfire, resulting in widespread displacement and suffering. The conflict has exacerbated existing economic disparities, leaving many Alawites struggling to survive. The war's legacy of violence, displacement, and trauma will continue to shape the Alawite community for generations to come. The future of the Alawites in a post-Assad Syria remains uncertain. The fall of the Assad regime, which once seemed unfathomable, is now a reality. The Alawites, long accustomed to a position of relative power and privilege, now face an uncertain future in a country where they are a minority group. Their fate will depend on the actions of the new government, the willingness of other groups to reconcile, and the international community's commitment to protecting minority rights. An uncertain future. The Alawites in post-Assad Syria. The Alawites are at a crossroads. Their future hinges on navigating the complexities of a post-Assad Syria. The country is in ruins, its social fabric torn apart by years of conflict. Reconciliation and rebuilding will be a long and arduous process, requiring all segments of Syrian society to confront the past and work towards a shared future. The Alawites, with their unique history and experiences, have a crucial role to play in this process. There are glimmers of hope. Many Alawites are committed to a pluralistic and democratic Syria. They recognize that their future lies in peaceful coexistence with other communities. They are engaging in dialogue, building bridges, and advocating for a Syria where all citizens have equal rights and opportunities. Their commitment to secularism and inclusivity will be essential in shaping a new Syria. The international community also has a responsibility to support the Alawites and other minority groups in Syria. This includes providing humanitarian aid, promoting reconciliation efforts, and ensuring that any political transition is inclusive and protects the rights of all citizens. The Alawites, like all Syrians, deserve to live in peace and security, free from fear and discrimination. The Alawite story is a reminder that even in the darkest of times, hope can endure. Their journey is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the power of dialogue and coexistence. As Syria embarks on a new chapter, the Alawites, with their unique history and perspectives, have the potential to play a vital role in shaping a more just and equitable future for all Syrians.